In the bustling heart of Jerusalem, where the stone walls echoed with the footsteps of ages, lived Eliam, a craftsman known for his skillful work with wood and stone. His hands, roughened by the toil of his trade, were a testament to years spent shaping the stubborn materials into objects of beauty and function. Yet for all his mastery over wood and stone, Eliam often found himself pondering the deeper carvings of life, the grooves and patterns that shaped a man's soul. His workshop was a modest corner of the market, a space crowded with the fruits of his labor, tables that promised to gather families, chests that whispered of secrets they would keep, and tools that awaited the hands of other artisans. Despite the life that flowed through the market each day, a bustling river of people, animals, and the fragrant promises of spice vendors, Eliam felt a persistent tug of emptiness, a sense that the true essence of life was just beyond his grasp. On a day like any other, under the warm embrace of the sun that turned the limestone buildings to gold, the usual hum of the city was pierced by a wave of excitement. Rumors spread like wildfire, igniting the curiosity of young and old alike. Jesus of Nazareth, the healer, the teacher, whose fame had grown with every miraculous tale, was entering Jerusalem. Eliam had heard of this Jesus, of course. In the evenings when the air cooled and the sky painted itself in the hues of twilight, tales of the man from Nazareth often found their way to his ears. Stories of the blind seeing, the lame walking, and most baffling of all, a love so profound it touched even the most hardened of tax collectors and sinners. Yet as he stood in his workshop, the chisel idle in his hand, the whisper of curiosity grew louder. Could the stories be true? Was there a man who spoke with the authority of the prophets of old, who loved without bounds? The decision to leave his workshop and join the throng of people gathering to witness Jesus' entry into the city was not made with words. It was as if his feet knew the way before his mind had resolved to follow. Setting aside his tools, Eliam stepped into the river of people, each current a story, each face a testament to the hope and desperation that Jesus of Nazareth had ignited in their hearts. As he moved through the streets, Eliam felt an unfamiliar lightness, a lifting of the burden he hadn't realized he'd been carrying. The air was charged with anticipation, with hope, and for the first time in a long while, Eliam allowed himself to be swept away by the current of something greater than himself. The crowd grew denser as they approached the city gates, a sea of bodies moving with a single purpose. And then, there he was, Jesus of Nazareth, riding on a donkey, humble yet somehow commanding the attention of every soul present. Eliam's first glimpse of the man was fleeting, a face at peace amidst the chaos, eyes that seemed to see beyond the surface to the very heart of Jerusalem itself. Eliam's first sight of Jesus was through a forest of outstretched arms and waving palm fronds. Yet, even from a distance, there was something magnetic about him. He radiated calm amidst the storm of voices, his eyes sweeping the crowd with an unfathomable depth of compassion and sorrow. "Who is this?" someone near Eliam asked, a note of wonder in their voice that mirrored his thoughts. "This is Jesus, the prophet from Nazareth in Galilee," another responded, pride and hope mingling in their tone. Eliam stood frozen, his heart pounding in his chest. The tales hadn't prepared him for the reality of the man before him. Jesus' gaze seemed to pierce through the throngs of people, through the very walls of Jerusalem. And for a fleeting moment, Eliam felt as if those eyes met his own. It was a look that promised no easy answers but beckoned with the promise of truth. A few days after his life-altering encounter with Jesus, Eliam found himself again in Jerusalem's teeming streets. The city, always a mosaic of noise and color, seemed to pulse with an undercurrent of anticipation and tension. The memory of Jesus' words, both comforting and challenging, echoed in Eliam's heart, drawing him inexplicably towards the unfolding drama of the Passover week. As word spread that Jesus of Nazareth had been arrested, the city's mood shifted palpably. The same streets that had witnessed Jesus' triumphant entry now braced for his prosecution. Eliam, caught in the swell of rumors and speculation, felt a deep, compelling urge to follow the path that Jesus would tread. It was as if the brief moments he had spent in Jesus' presence had woven Eliam's story irrevocably with that of the Nazarene. The morning Pilate announced Jesus' punishment. Eliam joined the crowd gathered before the Roman governor's palace. The air was thick with fear, anger, and sorrow. As Pilate washed his hands, declaring himself innocent of Jesus' blood, Eliam's heart sank. The man he had come to see as a beacon of truth and hope was to be crucified, a fate Eliam could scarcely comprehend. Compelled by a force he could not name, Eliam followed the procession that led Jesus away. The streets of Jerusalem, which had once welcomed Jesus with shouts of Hosanna, now echoed with a different refrain, a chorus of jeers and lamentation. Among the crowd, Eliam spotted familiar faces. Mary, Jesus' mother, whose strength and grief were palpable, and other followers of Jesus, their faces etched with despair. As the soldiers mocked Jesus, crowning him with thorns and hailing him as the King of the Jews, Eliam felt a surge of anger and helplessness. Yet, the moments of unexpected kindness, Simon of Cyrene helping bear the cross, Veronica wiping Jesus' face, pierced Eliam's heart, a reminder of the light that persists in the deepest darkness. The journey to Golgotha was a blur of motion and emotion for Eliam. Standing at the foot of the cross, he watched as Jesus was lifted up, the sky above growing ominously dark. Mary's presence, stoic yet brimming with sorrow, served as a silent testament to a mother's love and the profound loss unfolding before them.
My God, why have you forsaken me?
As Jesus breathed his last and the earth quaked, Eliam felt as if the ground beneath him had shifted. The immediate darkness that enveloped the city seemed to mirror the despair in his heart. Yet, in the depth of this darkness, Eliam remembered Jesus' teachings, his miracles, and the promise of a kingdom not of this world. In the days that followed, the news of the empty tomb transformed Eliam's grief into something else, a burgeoning hope, a flicker of understanding. The resurrection was not just a miracle, it was a fulfillment of all Jesus had taught, a victory over death itself. Eliam's journey from a casual observer to a witness of the crucifixion and the resurrection reshaped his understanding of faith, love, and sacrifice. His was now a story intertwined with the greatest story ever told, a testament to the enduring power of Jesus' message and the transformative impact of witnessing history's turning point. Armed with this newfound faith, Eliam dedicated his life to sharing the story of Jesus, of the love that conquered the grave, and of the hope that shines brightest in the darkest moments.